HTML, CSS, and JavaScript together enable the creation of a fully functioning web page. Any web page we see around the world are under the hood actually HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML gives like the basic structure of the web page, and CSS is used to control presentation, formatting, and layout. I mean all the styling that you are seeing here. And JavaScript gives all the functionality of a web page. So today we are diving into HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. We are going to learn how it works with your web browser to bring websites to life. Ready to decode the magic of the web? Let's get started. First up, HTML is the backbone of web pages. Think of it as the skeleton that gives structure to a website. When you write HTML, you are creating a set of instructions that your browser uses to display content. Here you can see the example. When you type a web address into your browser, it requests a HTML file from a server. This file contains all the instructions your browser needs to build the page. You can also see the files from your browser. Just go to the inspect from your browser, and here is all the HTMLs that needs to execute this file. So once the browser receives this HTML file, it reads through the instructions line by line. HTML uses tags like h1, p, img to tell the browser how to display text, images, links, and more. To follow along this tutorial, we need two things. One is a text editor and another one is a web browser. So right now there are many text editors which are famous and people use, and most of the people use Visual Studio Code, Atom, Sublime Text, etc. For this tutorial, you can also use a notepad as well, but for better understanding and better coding experience, I would recommend Visual Studio Code. And for the browser, there are many browsers like Mozilla, Firefox, Google Chrome, Windows Explorer, or Safari. So here we are gonna use Google Chrome. You can basically use any one of them. Okay, so now let's start with the main thing that we've all been waiting for, the main coding part. So first of all, we are gonna make a folder in any one of the directories. So I have made a folder here. It's called HTML tutorial, which is right now completely empty. It has nothing inside it. And also I have my VS Code installed. So after opening the VS Code, you can see many prompts from here. So you can use this prompt as open folder, or you can go right here on the file section, and there is also an option called open folder. You can just click on that. Then it will show all the folders that we have. Let's go to the directory that we have created the folder. Okay, so there is our folder. Let's select this one. Okay, so right now it has nothing inside it, as you can see. So let's make a file. So for HTML, we need to make a file called with the extension of HTML. Okay, so I'm just gonna name it index.html. Okay, yeah. So that's it for the introductory video on HTML. Now you know why these technologies are so important for building websites and how to get started with HTML in your code editor. In the next video, we will dive deeper into HTML itself, exploring its structures, essential tags, and how to create your first web page. So stay tuned and get ready to start building your own web page. Ta-da! Okay, so every HTML document starts with some basic structures. So here how it goes. Doc type HTML. So this thing is basically an HTML file which starts with the tag doctype HTML and ends with the HTML. Now you are questioning like, what is this doctype? This field actually tells the browser that the file you are serving is actually an HTML5 file. So HTML5 is the newest version, the latest version of HTML. So this HTML actually consists of two parts, which is a head and a body. So this head part actually contains all the meta information like titles and all that stuff, and the body holds the visible content of your page. So let's give a title for this page. Okay, so for now that's pretty much it for our basic structure of HTML. So if you want to see it like better from the VS Code and faster way, so there's a faster way. So we are going to install an extension called Live Server. So from this field on the extensions, you can just search server. There it has the Live Server. So I'm going to install it. Okay, so it's installed right now. So after that, let's go to your index.html file, and there you can see a small field called go live. Okay, so now let's go live and see what we have created. That's it. See, you can see the title of this website, which is called website, and it's pretty basic, right? The body contains nothing, it's just a blank page and all. But congrats, you have built your first HTML page. Okay, now let's give the HTML page some content. So we are going to start with the header, which is basically acts of the title of the whole body of the web page. So we have like in HTML, we have basically 6 type of headers, which are declared from H1 to H6. So H1 is the largest of the headers and H6 is the smallest of the headers. So this is the largest. Then in H6, this is the smallest. Okay. And between them we have H2, H3, H4 and H5. So I'm gonna also create them. So there comes H4. Okay, so now let's see like the headers, how they look. Okay, now let's go live again. Okay, so you can see this one is the H1, which is the largest of the header, and this one is H6, which is the smallest of the header. This one is H2, H3, H4 and H5. Now you are thinking like, why do we need so many headers, right? We can only have like H1. This is actually very much important for the SEO and all this styling that you can do. If you want to do with like only HTML, you can use them, the different type of headers, and also for the SEO it is really important. It plays a really important role. So we will learn all about this later in the chapters, but for now that's it for the headers. Then let's have a paragraph tag here, which is defined with P, and we can just have some like demo paragraph data here, just like lorem, and click enter, and there you have your fake paragraph. Let's see it on the browser. Here is the paragraph that we have written. Okay, so we can also have image here, which is known as img tag. Okay, so this image tag, when you're loading an image, you have to give a source of this image, which is defined as src. Yeah. So for now, in our directory, we have downloaded 2 different images. So I'm gonna load them in our website. You will have suggestions there. Okay. So this one. Now let's see. Yeah, you have it on your website. For the images, you can also set the height and width of this image. Just write GHT height. We are going to give height of like 50 pixel. Let's see. See, it's got really small. If we give the height of only the height of any picture, it will take the width as the ratio of the original ratio of the picture. Like if we increase the height, it also will increase the width as the ratio of the picture. But if we give the width as well, it will take that. Like if we give height as 100 pixel and give it width as 50 pixel, then it's gonna size as well. See, like this one. If we give it like 100 pixel, it's gonna change its width. See, so for now I'm just gonna leave the width like it is as the ratio. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the image. Okay, so now let's write an HTML link with our page. So HTML links have the tag a tag. Okay, so it has the starting tag, ending tag, and let's give a content of this link tag and give the URL, which will go under the href attribute. Now let's give the URL of the Google here. Now let's go to our web page and refresh. There you can see the Google. If you click on that, it will take us to the web page of Google. So one more very important thing is HTML. In HTML is what is HTML element and what are HTML attributes. So HTML element is defined by the start tag, some content, and the ending tag. So there you can see the h1 as a start tag, and this is the content of the header element, and this is the ending tag of the header element. Same goes for this paragraph tag. This is the start tag for this paragraph. This one is the whole content, and this is the ending element. Now what is the attribute of an HTML? So here you can see in the image tag we have write the src to write the source of this image. So this is an attribute, and this height thing is also an attribute. So attribute is actually provides the additional information of an HTML element. So different HTML elements have different types of attributes for them. We can also give various styles to our HTML elements. So here, if we want to make this header tag, like we want to make this like blue, so we have to write the attribute called style here. Then you have to give, like, as we want to change the text color, we will give the color. The color will be blue. Okay, so now let's see what we have here. See, the whole thing is blue. Now let's make the p tag as red. See, this p tag is red. We can also change the background color and other many styles. We can do many styles with them. So we will learn about them later, and we will learn about them in details when we will learn about CSS. So for now, that's pretty much it for the style part. Okay, so for our web page, as you can see, this image tag and this link tag is now side by side. So it doesn't look very good. If you want to do something like you want to give both of them in different lines, you can do break. You can use break tag. So how to write break tag? You can just go between these two image tags and link tags and write BR, which will break them. See? They went side by side. You can also do other thing. We can draw a horizontal line, which this tag called HR, and it will create a horizontal line between them, this one. So when we're writing code, there are so many codes. This is the small part of a code, but when you're writing like production level codes, there will be hundreds and thousands lines of code. So you have to like write many types of logics and stuffs, but you have to do code commenting. So how can we do code commenting in HTML? So you can write like this. So this part is inside the code, but it won't be visible on your page. So that is called a comment of the code. See, this is nowhere visible on this page. So this is how you write a single line comment for your HTML file. We can add audio files in our browsers. So for that, we need the audio tag. So this is the start tag and end tag for the audio file. Now we need some audio files, right? We need to give a source for that, just like the image. I have downloaded 2 files for the audio. These are the 2 files that I have downloaded. One is in the MP3 and one is in the OGG extension. Okay. So yeah, this is basically our audio file. Now let's see what we have on the browser. But we don't have anything on the browser. So what can we have? The audio file has another field or attribute called controls, where we can control the audio tag. There you see, now we have your audio file. If you start it, the audio is gonna get played. We can also maintain the sound, and there is like download and playback speed as well. So there are many other fields as well, like autoplay, muted, and loops. So I'm just gonna add them. Autoplay, so it's gonna play as soon as it loads. See, it is starting. Yeah, autoplay. You can also add like muted, so the field is like now muted by itself, and loop. So after it finishes once, it will gonna play in loop. Yeah, so for audio files, we can have like multiple formats. If one extension doesn't work, like if MP3 doesn't work on the browser, then we can add a different source for the OGG file or any other type of extension. So how are we gonna write that? So let's start with the audio tag. Then we are gonna have some content, but the content is won't show actually. Don't show. So now we will add the controls attribute. Now we can add like sources inside our content. So how are we gonna write that? We can write like SOURS, say source. So that's a simple one tag, which is source. Now the source is gonna have an src attribute, which we are gonna give first our MP3 file. Now we are gonna give the type of this file as well. So the type will be audio. .mp3. So we are gonna load another source. Which will have an src. Which will have the same file but in a different extension. This is an OGG. So we are going to define the type as well. It's audio/OGG. Now let's see what we have on our page. See, this is the first one, audio with the one source, and this is with the multiple sources. So yeah, that's pretty much it for your audio files. So you can also style them and control them differently, adding different attributes. In our web page, we might want to format our text differently. Like we might want bold text or italic text or emphasized text. So we can do it also solely with HTML as well. So how are we going to write that? Like suppose you want to add a bold text. So we are going to add a tag named B. B is for bold. So this is bold text. Let's see. See this one, this is a bold text. We can also add different text as well. So let's go with the strong tag. So this one is the bold and this one is the strong. We can also add italic text, which will go as the I is for italic. This is italic. See, this one is the italic text. We can also add emphasized text, which is mostly similar as italic. Yeah, see, this is similar as italic one. Then let's add a break tag. Okay, now we can also as mark text. So let's add mark for the mark text. This is marked. This is marked. See, this yellow colored. Now let's stack small text. This is small. This one, this is the small text. We can also add deleted text. This one, this is the deleted text. Let's add an inserted text now. This is the inserted text with the underline command. And we can also add like subscript text or like superscript text. So let's add a subscript text. Now let's add a paragraph for better understanding. Now add a superscript text. Now let's see how they look. Okay, so this is the subscript text, this is the paragraph, and this is the superscript text. I think we would not add a paragraph. Otherwise, a paragraph will take the whole column. It has the whole body. It will take the whole column, but it won't go side by side. So we need a span. Span doesn't take a whole column. It works as a part of the paragraph. So let's take span. Yeah, you see? There we have subscript, the paragraph, and the superscript. So that's pretty much it for the text formatting of the HTML. Just like we have added the audio file, we can add the video files in our web page as well. So for that, let's add a breaking point for better view and add the video tag for loading video. So this is the basic tag, which includes the starting tag and the ending tag. Then we will have some content which will show if the browser doesn't support the video tag. So we will just call it like browser does not support the video. Okay, so now the video tag will have the source src attribute as well. So the src attribute, for that I have downloaded two different files for the video. One is the mp4 and other was in the webm format. So now let's load the mp4 format. So let's see on the browser what it has. It has the whole video thing, but it is currently not playing because we don't have a controller, just like the audio. So let's add the controls. And also let's add the height and width for this one. Wait, let's let add the width as 60 or 600 or 600 pixel. Okay, now we have our audio with all the controls and everything. Now it's playing as well. So just like the audio format, we can have different sources for the video as well. Now let's add the same video, or just let's add this one. Let's keep the controls and add different source. So let's add a source tag. The source tag will have an src attribute. In the src attribute, we are gonna write the source of the video, and we're also gonna give the type. So now this one is a video /mp4. Now let's add another source. If this one doesn't work, this source will execute. Let's add the src for this one as well. Have the different format of video, and the type is the same goes the, we're gonna give this format. Okay, so first it will try to execute this source. If it doesn't work, it will execute this source. If this doesn't work, then it will show this text thing. So now let's go to our browser and see. Yeah, it's working fine. It has all this stuff like download, play by speed, and picture in picture. We can also play it in the full screen and everything. So that's pretty much it for the video formatting of the HTML. We are going to learn more about it. We are going to build an whole web page by ourselves in depth in our future chapters.
So HTML also allows for us to write lists. So what are lists? Lists are basically a group or a set of related items. So HTML supports two types of lists. One is EWEL, which is the unordered list, and the other one is OL, which is the ordered list. So first write some example of eval or unordered list. So this unordered list will have some list item, which we will write as a line or simply the list item. So let's add some list item like list item 1, 2, and in the ordered list, let's add the same list item we can add here as well. So we can just copy and paste them. So we are going to add the same in the unordered list and same in the ordered list. Now let's see in the browser, how does they look? So this is the unordered list, and this one is the ordered list. So this unordered list have different types of order styling, and the ordered list have different types of order styling, like 1, 2, 3. So except the unordered and ordered list, HTML actually supports another type of list, which is called description list. So how we are gonna write a description list? It is going to start with TL, and it will have some description tag defining each list item, like DT. You can call them DT. Okay, so the first item can be like tree, and this DT will have some description as well, which will known as DD. So we're gonna write like we're gonna write some description of the tree. So let's see how they look. Here, it has some tree, and it also has like the description of the tree. So we can add another item as well. We can just copy and paste the whole thing. So there we'll have like 2 items. We can add like milk. There you have 2 examples of the description list. One is tree and another one is milk. This is the description of tree and this is the description of milk. So these are all the types of lists that HTML supports.
Now let's add another HTML page in our project. We are simply gonna name it index2.html, and we're gonna follow the same process that we have followed with. So we're gonna add the doc type HTML and the closing tag as well, HTML, and we're gonna have the head of the HTML and the body of the HTML. Now let's add a title as well. We are gonna call it website 2, and in the body we are gonna add a header. Let's start with a header. So now we are gonna learn about tables, so let's name it table. Now let's see how does it look. There we have it. Here website 1 and website 2, and we have the table. So before we jump to the tables lesson, we can do another fun thing. Let's go back to the index page and let's add an link. It will link us to our newly created index 2. So how we are going to do that? We are going to add an a tag with the name called next page. Okay, and we're gonna add an href attribute which will redirect to index 2 page, which will be the next page, and we will go to the newly created index 2 and we are gonna add the same thing. Let's first add an horizontal line and add an a tag with the previous page. We need to add the href, which will be the first page. Yeah, so now let's see how does it look. Yeah, let's go to the first page and go live. Yeah, so this one is our first page. Now scroll down. This is the link that we have created. Now click on the link. It will take us to the next page, and if we go to the previous link, it will take us to the previous page. So this is how we can navigate through our different web pages. So now let's start with the tables. So tables are basically great for organizing data, and it looks really good and organized and very easy to navigate through the data on the HTML page. So for creating a table, we first going to start with the table tag. So table will have basically two parts. One is the table head and another one is the table body. So the table head will be known as T head, and the table body will have T body. We can add another thing on the table which is known as caption, which will add the caption for the table. Okay, so today we are gonna see or make a table of the list of employees. So let's add the caption known as list of employees. So in the table head, we are going to add a column. So how are we gonna add the column? We're gonna first add a row. The row is written as tr in HTML. In the table head, a table row will have different table columns. In HTML, we are going to describe them as table data or table header. In the header, it will call th as table header, and in the body, it will be called td as table data. So in a single row, we will have multiple table data. th. Let's first add the data for name, then add a field for position, then we're gonna add a field for department. Now let's add another field for contact. Okay, so this is the table head. Now let's add the table body. Now in the table body, we will have multiple rows as well, and these multiple rows will have multiple data as well. So first we create one row for one employee. So these are the 4 table header fields, though we can add maximum 4 table data fields as well. So let's first start with the name. So let's name him John Doe. Now let's add the position of John Doe as project manager. The department for the project manager is management, and the contact of John Doe is John Doe at email.com. Okay, so that is one row, and that is one row as well. So now let's see how does it look on our website. See, this is the table, this is the caption, list of employees, this is all the header, and these are all the data. John Doe, which is a project management in the management department, and the contact is johndoe@email.com. So let's add another table row as well as tr. Now let's add first field at Emily Johnson, which is an UX designer. Which department is design, we'll name it design, and the contact for Emily Johnson is emily@email.com. So this is basically the whole table, the name for John Doe and for Emily Johnson. We can also add different styling. Just let's add some simple border for now. Border 1. So see, this is added, this has added the border, and this is basically the table. Now you can add hundreds and thousands of fields for one table, and you can add many types of styling for the table, and see through the columns and spans as well. But we are going to look through them and go deeper in the next chapter. So for now, this is all for the tables. So in our previously written web page index.1, you can see like we have written various elements. In these elements, this is a paragraph element. So this is taking the whole page, the width of the whole page. But there you have seen that we have written the superscript, and this is the span, and this is the subscript, but these are not taking the whole width of the page. These are only taking the space that they need. So our HTML elements basically have two types of display value. One is known as block. So this one is the block value, which will take the whole width of the available space, I mean the web page, and other one is the inline elements, which will take only the width which they need. This won't take the whole width of the web page. So in the block elements, we have the p tag and the division tag. So if we write here in the index 2, let's write a p tag or a division tag first, a division tag. So we can add some fake fillers there. Okay. And now let's go to our web page. Okay, so this is the division tag. You see these are taking the whole width that is available for him. If you scroll down our page, see, this breaks, but this is still taking the whole page available to the web page, the whole width. Now let's add another element which is called a span element. Okay, now let's add a simple lorem 10. Let's add a small paragraph type text. So this is the span tag. You see, this span tag is not taking the whole width available to it. It has a set by the side of the link tag, because link tag is also an inline element. So the inline elements, the main difference between the block element and the inline element is like the block element takes the whole width available on the web page, and the inline elements only takes the width that it needs, and it can sit at the side of the other inline elements as well. So these are the difference between the block and the inline elements in HTML. Now let's learn about one more very important feature of HTML, which is the meta tag. So meta tag is basically defines the metadata of the whole HTML document. So metadata is actually the data or the information of the whole web page or the website. So meta tags always go inside this head tag, and it specifies various information about the websites, like a character set, page description, keywords, author of the website, name of the website, and viewport setting, etc. So metadata will not be displayed on the main web page. It is only machine perceivable, and it is also used for various like search engine optimization and web services purpose as well. So there is a method to let web designers to take control over the viewport, and it is done through the meta tag. So now let's add some meta tag for our website. Now let's add the meta tag of character set. So for that we are going to add the tag named meta. Okay, so it is a single tag, it does not contain any closing tag, just like the source tag that we have written in our video file, video and audio. You can see we have written the source field, which doesn't contain any, which doesn't need any closing tag actually. And the other one is the HR and the BR. These are all the like single tags which does not need any closing tag. So now let's start writing the meta tag again. So for the meta tag, let's add the attribute called character set or char set. So we are going to write them in UTF-8 format. So I have added the character set. Now let's add some description about our website. So this meta tag's name will be description. And which content will be HTML tutorial. Okay, so how can we search them? We can get the data of this website by searching these keywords in the Google or any other search engine. So the name will be keywords, and the content will be we can add them by, like, for now just add like HTML. We can add like HTML, CSS or JavaScript as well. Okay, so we can also add the author of this website. Name will be author, and content will be tech with T. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need for the meta tag right now. So these are not this will not be shown on our main web page, but this will be available for the machines or the browsers to read. So these are all the meta tags, and these are all the information about the meta tags that we need right now. There is another very cool option to embed another website or another website content in your website, which is done by the tag named iframe. So iframe tag specifies an inline frame. An inline frame is used to embed another document within the current HTML document. So let's write an iframe tag here. So let's write it as iframe. Okay. So now the iframe tag will have a source. I will give it a source of an YouTube video, src. Let's paste the embedded link of a video, and I will also give it a title. So this is a video of a nature, so nature video. Okay, so now let's see in our website like how this iframe looks like. Okay, yes, see, this is the video of the YouTube, and this is running perfectly. We can also add like width for this video and various type of styles and tags. For now we will add width like 400. Let's see if it changed. Yes, it changed. It got width of 400. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the iframe tag of an HTML page. In this section, we are going to understand about the class and ID attributes in HTML. These two attributes are essential for styling and scripting your web pages. By the end of this video, you will know when and how to use them effectively. So let's start with class attributes. So the class attribute is used to group multiple elements together. This makes it easier to style and manipulate them with CSS and JavaScript. So let's see an example of the class attribute. Let's write a div. I will give them a class of container, and under this div we will have an h1 tag. Let's give him a class of title. Now let's see, welcome to my web page. Now under this one we can give a paragraph tag. This is paragraph 1, and we are going to have another paragraph. Okay, now let's give these two paragraphs same classes. What should I name them? Just name them text. Okay, so this is basically how we write class attributes. Now let's add a style tag. We'll add a style tag here. Now let's write some styles for these classes that we have defined. I'm going to write a class for this text class. Okay, so we are going to go up in the head of the HTML. Now we are gonna write the style tag. This type of CSS is called internal CSS. We are gonna look through more into CSS when we will have a tutorial on the CSS and JavaScript. So yeah, after the style tag we are going to define this class that we have named text. So how to define a class? We'll start with a dot, then the class name, which is text here, and we are going to have the curly braces and define the classes. Now let's give some classes to identify them. I'm going to give a font color. Just for now I'm gonna give it white, and I am also going to give it a background color. Just give it black. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, see, these are the paragraph tags that we have written. This one is the paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Both have the same styles, background black and the font color is white. So that's how we can write one class and apply it to multiple elements in the HTML, and we can also manipulate them with JavaScript as well. So we will look deeper and learn more things about these classes and IDs later in the future. Now let's talk about the ID. So in this section, we are diving into one of the most essential elements in web development, the HTML button. Buttons are everywhere on the web, from forms to interactive features, and by the end of the video, you will know exactly how to create and style them. A button in HTML is an interactive element that users can click to perform an action, like submitting a form, navigating to a new page, or triggering a script. Creating a button in HTML is super simple. So let's see how it is created. We will first start with a button tag. Okay, inside this button tag, we will add some content. For now, I'll just add a click me. Now let's see how it looks. So this one is our button tag that we have created, and it only have the text that we have given. So this is like the most basic button in HTML. But in HTML, we can also create different types of buttons. We can serve like different purposes. There are basically main three types of buttons in HTML. One is submit, reset, and button type. Let's see how we can create them. Like for creating a submit button, we have to give the type of this button as submit. Let's give the text as well as submit. So this is actually used to submit a form data. Then the other type of button is reset button. Give the type as reset and give the content as reset as well. You can give any content, but you have to give the exact type. So this reset button actually resets all the form fields to their default value. Like if its default value is like name, so it will go back to name after you like reset the button. All the fields of the form will just reset to its default value. Then the last one is called button type. You can just call it button. So the button type is just a regular button that does not have any predefined behavior. You can use it to trigger JavaScript function or any other functions that you want to execute. Okay, so the ID attributes is used to uniquely identify a single element on your page. Unlike classes, each ID should be unique within the document. I mean, if you write and if you just change this class into ID, like if you write an ID name title, you cannot and you should not write any other ID called title. It should be unique. If you want to add another title, like right here, if you want to add like ID title or anything, but you shouldn't name it the same as it is anywhere else in the document. You can give another name like title 2 or title 3 or anything else, but this ID field should be always unique. So let's write a style for this ID as well. Let's write a style for the title ID. So for that, we are going to go again on the style tag, and for the ID we have to define it like this. Then we are going to give the ID name, then the curly braces, and let's give it of color red. See, the H1 is now of color red. So like this, you can do various styling and manipulation using classes and IDs. So I hope you understand the fact that why should we use classes and IDs in HTML element. We will learn more and we will understand more in next tutorials as well. So in this section, we are diving into one of the most essential elements in web development, the HTML button. Buttons are everywhere on the web, from forms to interactive features, and by the end of the video, you will know exactly how to create and style them. A button in HTML is an interactive element that users can click to perform an action, like submitting a form, navigating to a new page, or triggering a script. Creating a button in HTML is super simple. So let's see how it is created. We will first start with a button tag. Okay, inside this button tag we will add some content. For now I'll just add a click me. Now let's see how it looks. So this one is our button tag that we have created, and it only have the text that we have given. So this is like the most basic button in HTML. But in HTML we can also create different types of buttons. We can serve like different purposes. There are basically main three types of buttons in HTML. One is submit, reset, and button type. Let's see how we can create them. Like for creating a submit button, we have to give the type of this button as submit. Let's give the text as well as submit. So this is actually used to submit a form data. Then the other type of button is reset button. Give the type as reset and give the content as reset as well. You can give any content, but you have to give the exact type. So this reset button actually resets all the form fields to their default value. Like if its default value is like name, so it will go back to name after you like reset the button. All the fields of the form will just reset to its default value. Then the last one is called button type. You can just call it button. So the button type is just a regular button that does not have any predefined behavior. You can use it to trigger JavaScript function or any other functions that you want to execute. Okay, so let's get back to the browser. So these are all the button, the submit button, the reset button, and the button type button that we have created. Now the button can have various type of attributes like disabled, type, name, value, etc. Now let's see how we can use them. Like suppose we create a button with a field disabled. Now let's see what it does. See, all the other buttons are clickable, but this one is not clickable. Now if we remove the disable button, name it like, okay, so let's add something like name. We can just call it submit button. We can give the type as submit, and we can also give a value. We can also give a value of, like, let's give it like send. So basically what it does is the disable attributes makes the button like unclickable, and adding the name and the value is useful when you want to handle the form data in a specific way. And see, these are all the buttons. So these are pretty basic when it comes to styling. So of course you want to add some styling to the buttons. So for that you can write some CSS. Now let's give a button some style. Remove all this field, and or just leave them as it is and give them as a class. I'm going to use a class. Class name should be styled button. Okay, now we are going to write a CSS style with this class name. Okay, I'm gonna write right here. So what are you gonna do? We're gonna add a dot, then the class that we have added, and then the curly braces. Just give it a gap. Yeah. Okay, so let's now give a background color. Let's give the background color, as I want to give some pretty basic background color, and the color as like brown. Yeah, I guess that will work. And I want to add some padding as well. 10 pixel padding and 20 pixel padding. Yeah. So I'm gonna add a border for the button. No, for now just leave the border as blank. Like the button already has some kind of border. If you see other buttons, it has some kind of border in them, but I want to like leave it as blank. I don't want any border here. I want to make it a bit curvy, so I'll make a like border radius. It gives a small curve to the border. Yeah, I guess that's it. Border radius, just give it like 5 pixel. Yeah. And the cursor means when we put the mouse on them, what should be the styling of this. We can style them as well. So the cursor should be pointer. Just give it pointer. Okay, now let's see, that's our button, click me, and the cursor is different. The cursor is pointer here, and we have added the background color, the text color, the padding, and the border, and also the border radius. You can see it's a bit curvy than other ones. So yeah, it looks prettier than the other ones. So yeah, right, like that we can add our custom styling everywhere. And also we can style all the buttons with these classes. That's the advantage of class and IDs. Like, it makes the whole code very structured. Just add them everywhere. All the buttons that you want in your web page will look similar. Add here as well. No, just give it blank for now, so we can see the difference. Yeah, see, all the buttons have changed according to our style. So that's pretty much it with the button. I hope you enjoyed it. Hello, so in this section we are going to talk about HTML forms, a crucial part of any website that collects user input. From sign-up pages to search bars, forms are everywhere on the web. And by the end of this tutorial, you will know how to create them from scratch. So an HTML form is a section of a web page that allows users to enter data, which is then sent to a server for processing. Whether it's signing up for a newsletter or logging into an account or leaving a comment, forms are essential for interacting with your websites. They're essential everywhere. So now let's start writing a form. So we are gonna start with a form tag. Okay, so this is basically the start tag and input tag of the form. So now forms has many attributes, and the most important of them are action, and the other one is the post. Okay, so for now we are gonna just leave them as it is. So now the form can have various input types. Like, you can when you're logging into Facebook or Google or any other platform, you have to give an username and a password. So like this one, we are going to do the same thing. So for one single input, we need a label as well to say the user like what they have to give inside the input. So it is called the label field, label, label. So this is the starting of the label, and this is the ending of the label. So suppose we are going to take the name and the email field for the form, then we are going to call this name. And also we are going to add a for attribute for letting the label which input it is actually addressing to, and the input is there. We are going to have an input. So the input can have various types that we are going to see here. It can be of text, it can be of email, it can be of password, numbers, checkbox, radio, many things. So for now we are going to use the type of text, as we are going to take the input as text. We are going to give it an ID. Let's give it as name, and we're also going to give it a name called name as well. Okay, then we are going to add another field. Let's add the label for this field. Okay, so we are going to add this for email input. Email, yeah. And we are going to add an input type. It should be of type email. We are also going to add an ID and a name. And finally, for submitting the whole thing, we will need a button. We are call it submit. So we will use it for the form submit. So we are gonna use the type submit. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the button. Yeah, one more thing we have forgot is the action and the post thing. So in this HTML form, the form elements is the container for all the input fields. This form is the container for all the input fields that's inside the form, and it has two key attributes, action and method. The action attribute specifies where the form data should be sent. Like if we are using a REST API, so we can give the route of that API. For now, we are going to give an example like the submit. And the method attribute determines how the data will be sent, typically as a post or get request. As you know that HTTP has various methods. Some of them are get, post, put, etc. So here we are gonna just define the method here. So this is going to be a post method. So now let's break down the different elements that make up a form. Forms are made up from various input elements, each designed to collect a specific type of data. As we have said before, like the input elements can be of different types like text, password, email, radio, checkbox, etc. Here are some of the most common ones we are gonna see now. So here we have used the text field, right? But first, let's see how it actually looks in our website. See, these are the forms, the main form, which is the label and the input of the form, and the email and also the input of the form. And there is the submit button. Now if we give the name and the email and press the submit, if we have any server, we would get the request as it should, but for now it is not working. Okay, so now let's see various type of input fields that we use in our forms. As we have seen two basic type of inputs here already, as text and email, we are going to see furthers here. Now let's make a label for a password field. Now we can call it password, and we can add the attribute for password. Okay, now let's add the input field. Password, and also we're gonna give the ID as password and name as password as well. So the main difference between password type and any other type is the password input marks the text and making it perfect for the password. What does that mean? Is like you can see here we have the name field and the email field. If you write anything, you can see them visibly, but if you write anything on the password field, you cannot see them. It is already masked. So that is why it is very useful to write down the password field. If you're writing it, no one else can see it when you're typing and all. So now let's see another one, which is called the radio buttons. Okay, so how can you use them? We basically use radio buttons to select a question from multiple options. So how is that? Suppose you have to choose a gender. So how are we gonna do that? First, we are gonna add a label for this input type. We're gonna call them gender. Okay, so we are going to make a input type first. Input type should be radio. Okay, ID, let's give it an ID of male and name, gender, and there should be a value as well. The value should be male. See, we have given the same ID and value, but we have give a different name. Why we did this? We are going to find out in a bit. Now we are going to add a label for this. The label should be male. It is for male one. Now we are going to do the same thing for the female type as well. We are going to make an input of type radio. We are going to give it an ID of female, but we are going to keep the name same as the previous one. It is gender, as it is for identifying that we are using this value for a single type of input. And it doesn't matter how many options you have, you're going to select only once for all the options. If you still don't understand it, you can understand it when we see it visibly on the web browser. We are going to add a label. The label is female here, and it is for the female field. Female field, yeah. Now let's see how does it look on the browser. Here, you see, there we have our gender, and there is the male field, and here is the female field. See, as we have kept the name as the gender, it is only one, right? So as we are selecting the name male field, the female is getting unchecked, and if you tick the female, the male is getting unchecked. This is the magic of the radio button. Same because if we add another input type, same for the field name, and we might call it other. So it will work as well. See, we have added a different option for radio button. Okay, so now we have understand the use cases of radio button. Now we are going to jump through the checkbox one. So checkbox are basically allows the user to select multiple options or one options. As you have seen in many web pages, there is a button or checkbox called agree to the terms and conditions before signing in or logging in. So yeah, these are the basic use cases of checkbox, and you can also select multiple options and send them as arrays or any other custom data type to your server as well. So let's see an example. We are gonna add a label we are gonna create a checkbox for subscribe. We are gonna label it as subscribe to our newsletter. And we're gonna create an input tab of type checkbox, and we are going to give it an ID. We're going to give it the same as subscribe, and we're going to give it a name as well, which will be subscribe. I will first create a breaking point for better view. Yeah, now let's go to our web page. Here you can see the example of the checkbox here, subscribe to a newsletter. Yeah, so that's the basic element. If you toggle that, it will uncheck, and if you then toggle back again, it will get checked. Now let's see an example of the drop-down list. A drop-down list or select element lets the user to choose from a predefined list of options. So how are we gonna write them? Let's see. I'm gonna add another breaking point here. Okay, now first we have to add a label. We're gonna add it for, let's say, country. Suppose you're gonna choose the country that you're living in right now. We are going to start the drop-down input with select tab. So that's a different from other inputs. We are going to give it an ID. I'll just go with the country, and we will give it a name as well. I'll also go with the country. Now we are going to add the options. Options. So the options can be United States. We are going to add a value which will be selected by the user and sent to the server. We'll call it US, and we will add other options as well. Option, we call it like Canada. Let's keep the content as Canada. And also another option for UK, United Kingdom. So this one, the content that we have written will be seen by the user, which will be shown on the user interface. But this field, this value field, will go to the server. Server will take this data as input and process it, like save it or process it or any other kind of stuffs. So let's see it on the browser as well. So something is wrong here. Select, I think there should be select field, not selection. Select, mistake. Now let's go again. Yeah, there you go. Now there is a country tab, and there is a select option where we can see various, and we can choose one. This will be appeared here. We can choose another. This will be appeared here. So this one is the basic use case of the drop-down list. Now we are going to move forward with other very special and very largely used input label, which is called text area. Now for that, we are going to add a label. We are gonna call it message, and we are gonna use it for message. And for this text area field, we have to use the tag named text area, the ending tag and the closing tag, and we will have the ID. and the name as well. Okay, so inside this text area I'll just leave it blank, because whatever user writes inside it, it will be taken as the input here. So basically text area element is used for multi-line text input, perfect for longer messages or comments. So you can see them on here as well. What happened? Okay, there's the button, message. I don't see any issue here though. Okay, I'll just refresh them. Yeah, there it is. So it was not refreshed. Yeah, so here you can see the message, and there is the text area. You can add many text here as long as you want, which we cannot do especially with the text input, because it only takes one line, but it takes multiple lines. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the text area. And there we have also discussed about the submit button as well. So when we click on this submit button, this one, it sends the whole data of the form to the server. Now we can do other thing which is a bit advanced, but which is also very necessary. We can also group this whole form. To make forms more user-friendly, it's important to group related elements together and structure them properly. You can group elements using the field set and legend tags as well, which help organize the form visually and semantically as well. So we can also group this one with the field set, like we can use the legend for this name, email, and password field. Just clear the breaking points for now. We can take these three fields, name, email, and password. Okay, and we are going to group them together. Now we are going to add a tag called field set, field set. Okay, and we are going to add a legend here. And we are going to call it like personal information or general information, anything you want. Okay, now we are going to paste back the whole content that we had. So we're gonna tap to make it look better. Okay, so now let's see what it did. It actually separates the whole content, the personal information. It looks pretty, right? The name, email, and the password. So that's basically what we do with the field set and legend stuffs. Here we have grouped personal information fields together, and this improves the readability and usability of the user filling out the form. After field set and legend, now let's talk about form validation. Validation ensures that user provide the required information before submitting the form. You can use HTML5 attributes like required, min length, max length to add basic validation for your form. Like if we want to add a validation field for this name input, we can add required. Like before submitting the form, the name must be filled, and the min length, length, min length should be 2. Like you have to give maximum 2 characters for this field. And also we can make this email field as required. Now let's see if we go back here. Now if we try to submit here, it will give like an error, please fill out the form. And if we give 1, it will say please the length this text is 2 character or more. Okay, so that's pretty cool, right? In form, the name field requires at least 2 characters, and both name and email fields are mandatory. If a user tries to submit the form without filling this out correctly, the browser will show the error message that you have seen. To sum up, HTML forms are powerful tools for collecting user input, and let's quickly recap the key points here, right? So we have started this with a form tag here. It is a form element which has the action and method. So action defines like the route that you're submitting the form to, and the method is the HTTP method like the post or get and etc. For user input, we use various types of input like the input type text, input type email, input type password, radio, checkbox, and all of them actually are used for different types of data and different purpose as well. So the group related fields are we can group the whole form or divide them into separate groups using field set and legends for better structure. And we can also add validations using the attributes called required, mint length to ensure data accuracy. So that's it for the tutorial. Forms are very essential for creating interacting and functioning website. So be sure to practice and experiment with different form elements and all the different HTML elements that we have shown in this tutorial. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more web development series. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.